All right, and good morning. This is our Fun Friday team meeting here. It is, I don't even know, is it December 19th? Yes, it is. And we're excited today because we've got the new year fast approaching. It's amazing how fast time has flown this year for certain, and how quickly this year has just eluded us in a way. And so when you look back at this year, I want to ask everyone if they would just take a moment to say, what did elude you? Did anything elude you? Or no, do you feel completely like you accomplished everything this year that you wanted to? So there's two schools of thought there. My name is Alex McMillan. I'm an integrated national director with Take Shape for Life, for those of you who are on as guests. What that basically means is I've helped a few people get healthy, and helped a few people teach other people how to get healthy, and they've gone ahead and paid that forward. And right now, I think in the McMillan organization, we have somewhere around 2,700 clients, which is a good amount of clients, wow, that are getting healthy because of all of us as a team of health coaches, somewhere to the tune of about, I think 26 or 27 very active health coaches in the organization, and somewhere right around 60, 65 total coaches who are still active, meaning that they are doing something with their business, but about 27 or so that are very active and starting to grow, which is exciting. We do these Fun Friday team meetings so that we can all come together and learn about how to help and support other people get started on their health journey, and to really integrate health, make it a part of who they are. And then obviously, as people start to transform, that's noticeable. Other people see that, and they also kind of ask, what are you doing? How is that working? And I find that most people are asking that a lot more when they see people staying healthy or continuing to get healthy beyond that 2-month, 3-month mark that they expect them to fall off. It's a very common place where people are going to watch you and go initial reaction of excitement. Then there's kind of a little bit of a hesitation. And then there's that, okay, this is for real. What's going on? And so I want to talk about that today. But before we do, I thought I'd just take a moment to do a little bit of the housekeeping. So why don't we have Harold and Sam? I'm not sure which one of you is on. I think it's Sam. If you could just go ahead and just do a couple initial things that we want to know, and maybe just welcome any new guest. That'd be great.
Sure. So hi, welcome everybody. I'm so proud of everybody coming on, because I know that this is just such a wonderful time of year, and we're all out doing fun stuff and shopping and wrapping gifts and stressing about, did we get everything for this and that. So thank you for being on today and sharing this time with us. It's so important. So just a few little takeaways for today's meeting, and how we can be on purpose and get the best use of our time is to, if you can, try to make sure that you're eliminating any distractions as much as possible. Obviously, I've got some kids and movies playing in the background, but I've got my headset in and I'm focused on this meeting. So just try and keep your eyes on the meeting, and keep your video on if you can and when you can, unless you're running to the bathroom or eating a big old hamburger or something like that. You might want to turn your video off then, and then you can turn it back on. If you're on the phone, you might want to mute, and so that you can hear when people are talking and we're not getting any external feedback. Some other things too is, as we cover topics and some important things, it is December and it is a week before Christmas and we're all busy, but right after this, we're getting into the busiest time of the year for the fitness industry, and that's January. So have your notebooks out, have a pen, have something ready to take your notes on your top takeaways, and also top actions. And like Alex likes to do as well, he has a to-do notebook, as well as I do too. And so put the specific actions there, a task that you plan to execute with a little checkbox, and a date of completion is helpful as well. Okay. So Alex, did I cover everything on housekeeping? I think so, huh?
Absolutely, yes. I think you did a real good job.
Okay.
And at this point in time, it really is a matter of us focusing in and getting here, like you said, Sam, and being able to think about, how does this information apply to our lives first, and then to our business, and then who else could this information that I'm learning today really touch? And if I grow and I personally expand, will other people benefit from that? Well, of course, because you're an influencer. You're in somebody else's life. So with that said, I think we're turning it over to Daniela. She's got a great guest, and she's going to do a little talk about some other important things as well.
Sure. Well, first of all, Alex, for Lindsay, she doesn't know how inspirational you've been to our team, so I just kind of want to hand that out. Lindsay, Alex McMillan is our team leader, and he has helped a lot of people personally to get healthy, but he also was part of the fitness industry in the past, and really kind of switched his focus to more of the really get healthy, industry. So Alex has been a great inspiration, and he's been very influential to our group. So thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Dan.
And Alex, this is Lindsay Steinman, everybody. This is Lindsay. And Lindsay started out with interviewing with us here at the clinic and learning a little bit about us, and was very interested in our approach with our patients and our desire to reach out into the community. So I'm going to let Lindsay kind of share a little bit about what's speaking to her, what maybe a little bit about what your background is, and why you're here. Why are you excited about this?
Okay, thank you. My name is Lindsay, and a couple weeks ago I got the interview for this position, and I've been looking over all the information, looking at the personal stories from everyone. I just want to help people. I want to get involved, and being healthy opens so many doors in people's lives, and I'm so intrigued by this whole process and fascinated, and it's nice to get real people to talk to and see how it's worked for them and see what I need to do. And I'm just excited at this stage.
Yeah, very good. So she's checking us out.
Oh, I love it. Well, welcome aboard, Lindsay. And it's neat that you've got a mentor, Daniela, who I know she wouldn't say this about herself, but she's helped so many people not only get healthy, but spark that true desire to find why they want to stay healthy and why they want to move forward. And as you'll find, as you start to link arms with her, she's got a voice that actually helps people awaken and basically find their internal motivation to stay. And you'll learn more about stay on course. And, there's what's nice is that you've got a good group of mentors and other people who have gone before you. And those are just people to learn from and grow with, who have been in a certain place of, I haven't really, I'm guessing that you haven't ever been a health coach before or have ever worked with somebody's health progression. Is that right?
Right. Yeah, I've never done that yet before.
So you're in that place where you're just learning the basics, and it goes pretty quickly, because the way to get somebody healthy is to start and work with a mentor who's going to show you and guide you, and that's how we all started. So really glad to have you on board here, and thank you for joining us this morning. Mm-hmm. So good. Daniela, did you see my little chat that I sent you about maybe doing a little bit on events coming up?
I did. I'm happy to just prompt. I'm happy to help.
Go for it. Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and do that right now, just since we're all here.
Just on events?
Yeah, just talk about, because we have a couple things coming up, and then the importance of it and what it's meant for you.
Absolutely. So what we have coming up is a couple of really exciting things. The kind of big one coming up in January is a regional convention where Dr. Anderson actually comes to town, and that's always really exciting. And that'll be here in the Portland area. I don't recall, is it Tualatin that he's coming to?
For the Portland area, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, we'll be gathering together with Dr. Anderson and learning from the best, of course. But even another layer into that is really people those events are the places that health coaches are really born. Those are the events that really help potential health coaches understand what the mission is, what it's all about, and how to move forward, what those next steps are, how to link arms with the mentorship team that they have, and learn more about the depth of our organization. And I know that when I went to my first convention, it was pretty overwhelming at first to be there, but boy, that sure lit my spark and helped me understand much more clearly about what my involvement with this mission would be and why it was so important to me personally. So one thing that I have learned is to never miss an event, because you never know the opportunity that you might miss by not being there. And it's not always just at the event that you're actually listening to, but it's the events between the events, when the coach is crossing the hallways and those conversations, or you bump into someone from, upper level leadership and have some great conversation with them. So be there. It's really awesome. And we also have local events called Healthy Talks that take place monthly. However, with Dr. A coming in January, we won't have one in January, but we'll again in February.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for that, Daniela. And for those of you around the country that are in different areas, you can access and resource where the local event is for you, or the event that's the closest for you, by going to this website. And what I've just put up there is the TSFL Coach Connection. And as you start to think about other people, you'll find that as you grow in this business, you really stop thinking as much about your own business and what you're going to get, and you start thinking about who else would benefit from this, and you start inviting people to go with you. So I would encourage you to shift out of the mind of, maybe I should go to the event, to actually saying, who do I want to bring with me to the event? And recently I had a gal who's been moving up quite strong in Take Shape for Life from supporting clients. And she really hadn't been to many events at all that were like leadership based or whatnot. And I encouraged her to go. And she says, well, I'm not sure if any of my team are going to come. And I said, well, you want to make the decision yourself. And when I say make the decision, make it completely not dependent on whether anybody else goes with you or not. But by all means, if you do, and you say, hey, I'm going, do you want to go with me? And you say that with conviction because you truly did make the commitment, you will be surprised at how many people will really take that seriously when you are committed. And on top of that, if they don't go, you'll have had that experience to be able to come back and say, oh my goodness, I really, really wish you were there with me. It was phenomenal. And they'll most likely say, okay, the next time, and they'll see your growth. And that's the main thing. It's not that you just showed up at an event. It's who you become in the process of committing to something. And it's the little parts that are added to you. And as Daniela talked about this, it's the conversations in between. Sitting there and having, a nation's top health coach talk to you and speak into your life is pretty phenomenal. However, actually linking arms with people and having those conversations about what did you do and how do you work with people, and then not even that, talking about life and finding out that they are a lot like you and they have the same things and struggles and the same kind of weird mannerisms, and they're just people, right? And they're succeeding and they're learning to overcome that. That somehow just awakens something inside of you that you go, you know what, I can really do this. I really can. So I encourage you to do that. Does anybody else want to share how events have transformed or that they've gotten anything out of the event before?
Hey, Alex.
Yeah.
I would love to. I'll try not to be too long because it's definitely something that, I'm super passionate about. And we're so blessed to have such wonderful mentors in you and Craig. And then as we went to events, meeting some of our upper line like Terry and David, but primarily you and Craig. But then there's also just nothing like getting to an event. There's things that I know, Alex, you would admit that you couldn't do for me as a man, from the female perspective, going and talking to Becca Tinter and Tia Wood after their presentations and being like, that was great. How are you using this? And so it's the workshops, it's the conversations with people who are doing what you aim to be doing, and it is so important. So this January, the Portland Super Regional, which we're going to be streaming. So what's the next best event? The next event, So for anybody that's on our team, we're going to be having our healthy happy hours on the 3rd and 24th of January. And then we'll also be getting just a little health coach gathering for the Portland regional streaming at our house. That event was my second event, but truly changed my life. The epiphanies and the awakenings I had there, I'm going to do a video on it, but truly remarkable. And it's simple stuff, it's simple stuff, but it's devoting your time, being present, and taking from it what you can and taking those next action steps. So.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that, Sam. And I can truly just witness with you about how your growth has happened after every event. And you know what's funny? Because that event has to be mixed with life too. Like you have stuff going on in life, quote unquote, the good and bad. And I in hindsight, I don't know how many bad things have ever happened to me. I mean, I don't know if anybody can relate to what I'm saying. I don't know how many bad things have really happened to me, because every good part of who I'm starting to become has happened through me suffering and learning to just have a little more faith, a little more trust, and care a lot more about people, and care a lot more about being cared for by people, letting people into my life through that. And I don't know, without tribulation, if we can really shine up and get buffered and, really put a gloss on without it. So it's interesting. And why I bring that up is because, Sam, this is a tough time of year for you with your mom passing a couple years back. And I know you came to the super regional after that, and it was like probably the last thing on your mind, at the time. But we talked, and you were like, "Oh my goodness, really? Am I going to go to an event when I'm in this kind of a state of mind?" And I personally believe that was the best thing you could have done, and having that experience with you. And I know I saw what happened, and I know for a fact it was because you even wrote me afterwards saying thank you for so much. That was a good place to be. So I'm glad you did that. So I want to encourage all of you through your tribulation, is show up in life. It's worth it. Be around other people. I'm not saying fake, that everything's just, perfect in your life, but understand that it's good to be a little vulnerable and to open up and see who really cares. So with that said, I want to show you how to find events. Okay. So this is basically called TSFL Coach Connection. And this is the place that you go to. .com, tsflcoachconnection.com for those people on the phone. And then you just go and look at the different things that are happening. They post some things that are coming up and all that on the main screen. But then there's this thing called events. You go figure, right? And then you have what's called field training events. And this is going to give you a calendar of the local events in certain areas that people have posted on the calendar for that are happening. So if you're having a local event, let's say in Louisiana, there in Mandeville, you can actually submit that you're having a Take Shape for Life event at your studio, and you can invite other coaches if you want, to just create more energy and more of a vibe. And right now there's only some people in San Diego that have posted that their event is happening for the field. And that's January 15th and 16th and 17th. Now, if we go to the super regional events, this is where all the super regional are happening. Of course, we talked about Portland. So Sam and Harold don't live in Portland, Oregon. They've decided to open up their studio. Is it at your studio or your home, Sam?
Can you hear me? Yeah. No, we're gonna do that one at their house, but the Healthy Happy Hours will be at the studio.
Okay, so the super regional one on the 9th and the one on the 10th that you're doing with Dr. A, that's where?
Yeah, that one's going to be at our house.
Okay, so the one on the 10th is going to be at their house, and they're going to stream it, and so you guys can all be together. Do be together. Don't watch it just sitting from your home. If you live next to somebody, try and get together and do that. Phoenix, Arizona on the 14th, Dr. A is going to be there. San Diego on the 16th and 17th. New York, if you want to see them live, I'm going to be at the Marriott there in Westchester, it's called Tarrytown, but I'm sure it's probably next to Westchester, New York. But bottom line is, these are worth driving to. If you're within, I would say, anywhere of a 7-8 hour drive. I mean, Ham, if you will, Ham and Harold, Sam and Harold, they are driving 7 hours for a little family vacation time. I think it's great to give priority to being able to drive that. You guys have driven, I've driven 13 hours to a super regional before when I drove to San Francisco to see Dr. A, and I just got done seeing him the month before, but I had people down there that I wanted to meet. You guys have driven like 8 hours, 9 hours or more to different events. I know Danielle and I have flown for 8 hours across the country to go to Washington, D.C. together a week after she got started as a health coach. So bottom line is that it's not only possible, we can help you make it happen. So prioritize. All right, we gave 10 minutes to events because that's what's built us. That's what allows us to grow and to get fed into. So what do you want to do? Do you want to see yourself personally grow? This isn't just about business. This is about personal growth, creating relationships, and see how that's done real life time as an example. We immerse ourselves for 3 days at these events. Well, the Super Regionals is a one-day event, but the national convention that's coming up, we immerse ourselves as a team, and we basically learn from each other and grow. And the national is coming up in Orlando this year, and that's going to be great. And so this is the exact time, by the way, from the time frame of when it's happening that you want to start planning for it. So I'm going to go here to event and show you. Oh, the wrong one. I'm going to go to here to event, and I'm going to show you national convention. We'll see if it'll pop up here since I started pushing the wrong button. And this one's going to be in Orlando in July. I believe it's the 9th through the 12th. And it's a beautiful resort there. We're going to have a lot of fun. I would make a little bit of a vacation out of this by showing up a couple days early if you can, or staying a couple days after. For sure 1 day early and for sure 1 day after if you're on a tight schedule. That will help you to kind of get into the mode. You know, what you don't want to do is show up the day of the event unless you absolutely have to. And I've just seen it. People are frazzled. Flights don't get connected properly. You're feeling a little bit washed out. You're adjusting to the difference in the climate change. You get a head cold. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I've seen it. Harold seems to want to show up at every event with some kind of a flu or head cold, and he still does it. Wow, it's awesome. But trooper, man. So with that said, this is going to be a beautiful time. We're going to have fun. So just plan your vacation around this if you need to. But understand this. This isn't just you paying money to be at an event. This is actually an investment that every time I've seen somebody show up really, truly pays back. Your business will grow right after it because of who you become and what you implement. So if you feel like in any way, shape, or form you're ready for leadership coaching or to take things to the next level, then by all means, this is the time you want to plan for that. Make a decision now that you really, truly aren't playing this like just a simple hobby, and that you're saying, you know what, I want to help other people. I want to personally grow. And if you make that decision now, you will plan for it. The fees for the event are ridiculously low. In the industry that Daniela mentioned before, in the fitness industry, events were a minimum per person, $400 at the very minimum per person. And I went to events that were upwards of $10,000. Okay. And that's for like leadership conferences that I've been to, and then had to pay airfare on top of that, then had to pay for all the stuff that you have. These events, we will actually help you find roommates. So if you want to share a room and you want to cut costs, we will stuff 4 people in a room, divide that. Even Harold and Sam and I share a room at the last event, and it really worked out well. I've shared the room with up to 5 guys. It's crazy before. That was the one before that. We had a bunch of us, and yeah, I slept in the bed with Craig Blanchett. Whoa, look at that. So too much information. But the point is that we have a lot of fun. And I could have paid for my own room, by the way, but I didn't want to. Why? I'm only going to be sleeping 6-7 hours on these nights anyway. And the bottom line was we had a ton of fun. And like was mentioned earlier, what you talk about afterwards. Does anybody else want to share anything about that? Good.
Yeah, I will, Alex. I just think that one of the things that going to these events really does for me, and I've seen it happen for other coaches, is that little place that we talk about, that circle that's our comfort zone, and that little spot right outside of it. Well, when you're around a bunch of people that have stepped out of their comfort zone and have figured some things out, that gives a lot of energy to me personally, to be more courageous with myself, to reach down to my passion and pull it out for the sake of other people, get that courage out and move forward. And I think a lot of that, I know that sounds, I don't know, it sounds a little mushy, I guess, but that emotional piece of having the team and being surrounded by people that are thinking just like you are, that are passionate just like you are on this mission, and but yet we're all in different places in our own minds, because our own mental health is at different places in terms of how we're able to move forward. Mm-hmm. But when we can come together, boy, does that accelerate the process of personal growth.
Absolutely. Acceleration, I think, is a great ending word, because it's a beginning word. It's a word that basically moves you. It brings you up to speed. And that's what this is about. And we do that by being on this together. Like, right now, being on this call, connecting, it keeps it going. Think about having a certain amount of momentum, but then having no more energy behind that. What happens? Things start to slow down. Well, this is like that little whip that basically spins us back up into that next 7 days. If you read Dr. A's Habits of Health book, in chapter 17 of this book right here, he talks about, is it 18? Chapter 18?
Are you looking for 21? Is that the fulfillment one that you're looking for?
You know what? We can go there too. I was looking for the chapter that talks about the power of your support system. It's 18, because 17 is the sleep chapter. So after you wake up from a good night's sleep in chapter 17, chapter 18 talks about building your support system and having other people around you. And he calls it the keystone to optimal health. And in your healthy body, your healthy mind, and your healthy finances, having support in that area. Being on your own, he says, I'm going to give you, for some of you, working on your own with a user-friendly, sensible system like Dr. A Habits of Health is enough. But I've written this text with the same conventional style and methods I use when I'm coaching. In essence, you have the benefit of my support when you use this book. And then he talks about, if you can overcome the logistics and issues in complex life today and have more self-discipline, then you can succeed. However, in a group, he starts talking about this, that you have the power of working in an organized group with other people with similar goals, similar values, and it creates an energy, encouraging each other. And you'll have someone to walk with, dine with, and build a healthy lifestyle with. And it starts talking about how we have a lot more fun doing things together. And he starts talking about a social network and an environment. And then he builds that, and he starts talking about, and it moves over to where you were talking about, Daniela, which is fulfillment. And really, really moving your life forward can happen at a lot higher rate when you have models to help you. Okay. So as we look to the future, I want to, I know most of you who are on this, I've already seen Ann saying, I'm committed. I heard Daniela, you say you're already registered. You set from the last year National Convention. I already know several others of you who are going. And glad to hear, Jessica, you can hear us now that you're on your iPhone. Definitely hope to see you in Orlando. This is really, really a great time. So start thinking about your list. So I've got a list already that I've created, and I wanted to give you guys something tangible today by showing you these little screen shares, etc. And what I do is I use something called Evernote, and you can use any note-taking system you want. And I keep tracks and lists of people that I'm inviting to different events and to different things. And as you can see on the screen. And then I've got, let me see, where's my other list here? My success list for the day. These are people I'm contacting and reaching out to here. And then I've got, where's my other list? Sorry. Working on a New Year promotion there. Oh, Evernote must have gotten closed, and these are just my sub list. There we go. All right, so as you can see, I have all these different checklists that I've created. And within these notebooks, they have my action follow-up list. And I've got one particular list called events. And on my super regional, these are people so far that I've called and have said that they're coming to the Portland Super Regional with me, which is really great. And then I've started a healthy games list. And these are people that I'm just going to start inviting and adding to healthy games. And then you basically so on and so forth, you can create more health lists. So what I'm going to do right now, starting today right in front of you, is I'm creating the national convention list. And then from there, I'm going to bold that so it's nice and big. And I'm basically finding out right now from our group. I heard Ann say she's going. I know Harold and Sam are going. So I'm already creating a list of who says they're going, and then I'm going to create an invite list of who I'm going to basically send. Daniela said she's going. Okay. And those of you who want to raise your hand and say you're going to, just let me know. And then I will go ahead and add you to the list and make sure that we keep you up to speed. And then, of course, you can always let me know as you go. But I'm going to be working with those people who said they're committed to see who they want to bring and help that. And then as far as creating the rest of my list, I basically do this. I have a section that I call invited. I have a section called interested in going. I have a section called committed. So these people right here are obviously committed. And I can't spell committed ever because of the M's and the T's change when you change the way that word is spelled. English, it's crazy. All right. So, and then you've got other sections like we talked about called people who say no or who've been invited, and I'll add that stuff right there. All right, so you get the idea. The whole point of that was plan ahead for success and then fill up those buckets of time, bring people into those specific times. All right, so great. Jessica's saying it's on her calendar. So is that a commitment, Jessica, or is that I'm thinking about it?
That's maybe I make my final decision after the baby's born, but
okay.
I definitely plan to be there if nothing, crazy gets in the way.
All right, like it. All right, we understand that. So wonderful. So I can add now Jessica to that. Now, what's important, okay, because you guys are going like, man, Alex, you're sure talking a lot of time about events and stuff. This isn't about event. This is about planning. And so I'm going to put Jessica here is saying that she's going. That's H, so I know who that is. And then so I'm gonna put here baby question, right? Okay, good. What this is?
Oh my gosh, Alex, I just have to say something. I just realized something.
What's up?
When we started going to these events, one of the dreams that it awoke in me was that I physically can have another child, but I wondered financially, stress-wise, if we were capable. And going to these events, being around other people, as Danielle said, getting out the comfort zone, seeing the possibilities, I started to dream. And then also what I saw was lots of families there with their babies. So I started dreaming about my third child, but also like my family being able to be with me in work and in life. And so National Convention, we're going to have our newest one with us.
So
yay!
Yay! That's so good.
It was Preston Bach. That'll be
I
fun.
know. I'm so excited.
We're going with our two babies. We're going to be going. I know it's crazy. We're going to have like 1-year-olds running around, but we're going to have a nanny. We're bringing, a family member to come with us, which is nice to help with it. But it's so great, Sam. Thank you for that permission to say yes. You can bring your baby and make a commitment, and people do that, right? So cool.
Yeah, this is real life, right, Alex?
It is real life. What's cool is for you people in Louisiana, I tell you what, you guys are fortunate because if you wanted to, you could drive to Florida. But I know it's a good drive though, right? And what's that, Ann?
Ann's driving.
Yes, I'm driving.
And how long of a drive is that?
It could be about a 10-hour drive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that would.
It's really not that bad. Last two events they had there, we drove. I like a road trip.
Yeah, so you can do the quick flight and all that. And so if you guys, if anybody's short on airfare, Jessica Hoffmeyer and her husband, they'll donate airfare for you guys. So they're doing pretty good. So I'm messing with you. All right, fun stuff. Okay, so with that said, guys, let's talk about what we just did. We got a vision out there in front of somebody, planted some seeds, and because of that and that talk, we actually assimilated every single person on this call saying they were going. All right? Just kept it going long enough, and then everybody started going because you're hearing the stories and you're hearing the sharing. And that's what happens. That only happens if you follow through. See, I'm that convicted about the event, but you have to paint the picture and get the visual. I showed some pictures of it, how we're going to have fun. It's a cool resort. We're going to be together, the team and the power of that. There's a lot of people out there that don't have a support structure system, especially in anything they're making money at. I mean, usually their job is something they're going, oh, I got to go to work today. Oh, I wish I could get time off. I just can't. I'm actually looking to figure out how I can get more people into my job with me. You know what I mean? How can I bring more people into helping people? And I know as we're sitting here, you got some people who are newer kind of listening in and going like, okay, like what really happens at these events? Well, I can't wait is it Lindsay, is it?
It is, yeah.
Lindsay, I can't wait to see you. Are you coming to the super regional event to meet Dr. Anderson and us there?
In Portland?
Yes.
I want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there any reason why you can't?
No.
All right, there you go. So it's about learning. It's about, and this is what Dr. Anderson would say, and you haven't met him before, but he'd say, why do we question things we want to do? Why don't we just say we're doing them and then make everything happen around that? Because I learned something a long time ago, which is if you don't plan your life, life will plan it for you. Other things will pop in. If you don't plan what your success is going to look like and plan your schedule, other people's lives will plan your schedule for you. And that's a truth. That's a truth. So setting out very clear, why would I want to? And that's the more powerful question. Why would you want to create a team of other people getting healthy around you? Why would you want to go to an event to learn how to do that? Why would you want to succeed? And if you can start to define that, you can really move yourself forward. Well, I want to give you a really key actionable item here right now. Does anybody have any questions before I go into action? How you do this? Okay, so if you really want to see that happen, then I'm going to encourage you to learn 4 basic steps, and we've talked about these before, and I'm going to encourage you to get really good at these 4 basic steps. And I'm going to share this post that Craig made, and I'm going to show you how to use this little Prezi software. I'm also going to show you how I organize my most important tools and action items so that I can access them quickly. If you see on my screen, you see what's called an internet browser, and right now I have Firefox open. And at the top of this, I have these different tabs open. So I have my email open. I have my calendar open right here. And then I also have a couple other tabs that are there called Facebook. And then I have, this one doesn't need to be open now. And I have this national convention we were working off of. But below this here, I have these most visited sites. I have my non-branded follow-up that I send people when they show interest. I have this Spin It to Win It page, which no longer needs to be there. I can remove that off there. I've got this login to get response. This is my email program that I use for people who have shown interest in the program. This puts them into an automatic email follow-up system. I'm not the best at remembering to follow up, so I use an email program that sends the follow-ups for me in a timely basis. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, or you want to have more of an automatic follow-up with people who are interested, you'll want to follow up with myself or Craig Blanchette, so you can use a system that will automatically send emails for you on people who are interested. And then it will slowly, what we call, drip on them testimonials and success stories and keep you in the top of their mind. And then I've got my Google Drive, which is where I store a lot of documents. There's my email quick tab, my Take Shape for Life ordering button here. This is a place where I access different Team Global videos. But over here on this side, I wanted to show you guys, I have a drop-down tab with more important bookmarks. And one of the very important bookmarks that I use is this new coach setup process. So whenever I have a new coach that I'm working with, or a seasoned coach who has not simplified their life yet and doesn't have their teaching, their sharing their story down consistently, or have their share list called the 4-step. And we just implemented this starting about 2 weeks ago. So this is fairly new. This is a Prezi. It's a type of software. And because it takes a lot of internet power, because it's video intensive, it's competing right now for this Zoom. So it's going to load a little slow. You want to be streaming video and this. The most powerful thing live, so it takes up a lot, so you have to have a strong internet connection. So playing audio with it's tough. But once it gets started, you're going to hear an audio from Craig Blanchett. And Craig Blanchett is our global director who helped me get started about 4 years ago. Be 4 years in January here coming up. Wow, time flies. And so let me see if I can. There we go. It's taking its time. And there's this little button right here that looks like an audio tab. And that audio tab is how you mute this. So Craig does this voiceover thing. And if that voiceover, you've heard it before and you don't need to hear it again, you can just mute the audio by clicking this. It's not playing right now the way I'd hoped it would be. But you can hit this little play button. And then you would...
in Take Shape for Life's compensation model,
so you hear
which,
that,
by
right?
the way, you don't need to fully understand to get started. It really is based on how many people you are impacting, whether through your own personal influence or, as you will see as your business grows, how many indirect people you will be helping. In our compensation structure, the biggest percentage of your income will come from your personal efforts in coaching your clients. But there's only so many hours in a day, and many of you already have full-time jobs, and you don't necessarily need another job, right? So we focus on helping the most people and making the biggest impact. As your clients get healthier, some of them will desire to help others get healthy by becoming health coaches. Then your role will change, and you will help them learn how to help people get healthier, teaching them how to get the word out and spread our message of health.
Okay, I'm going to stop there. So what Craig just got through saying, which is super important, is that we start helping people. If we do it in a simple way, then what will happen is a lot of those clients will actually want to refer friends and family. And the reason why they're going to want to refer them is because you've helped them do it in a way that was simple. Not saying it's always easy, but you were there supporting them. The information you were giving them actually empowered them to learn the skills and to get the information in a way that was easy to swallow. You weren't overwhelming them and talking at them and just giving them too much information with too much zeal, but it was just enough. You were doing just what we call in-time coaching, just-in-time coaching. What's the opposite of just-in-time coaching?
Just in case.
Yes, explain what's just-in-case coaching.
Just knowing everything you could possibly know in case a situation comes up where you would need it.
Yeah. So Jessica, and if your coach that replies back to you, if she doesn't get back to you in time, then this is what you do. And then if she doesn't give you a good answer, then what you would do is you'd say this and that. But if she gives you a great answer, then you do this, 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 and this. Okay. Or that new client, hey, well, if you have a bad day and you're out with friends and you're going out to eat and someone tries to tempt you, what are you going to do? Like, that's all just in case, like if that happens. And we don't want to do that. Because you think, well, I just care about them. I just don't want them to have the pitfalls and all that. That happened to me and it blindsided me. And okay, are you still here even though it blindsided you? Yes. Well, what did your coach do? Oh, well, I told them about it, but I really wish I hadn't eaten that. And if I would have known this information before, I wouldn't. So I want them to know this ahead of time. And you're like, I don't want you to be my coach. You're like overwhelming me already, right? That's called just in case. And what we want to do is we want to let people grow up and let life, go its way. And there are going to be teachable moments. So just in time training and coaching is a simple way of doing that. Long story short, if we do just in time coaching, when it's relevant, they're very teachable. You have to let stuff happen. Then you give them the tools and you say, Jessica, it sounds like you really had a good time out with your friends. At the same time, you made some choices that maybe you're not as excited about. Is that right? Yes, that's it, Alex. Okay. Well, would you like to have a more successful week this week moving forward? I sure would. Okay. Would you like me to give you some tools that can really help you set yourself up? Yeah, absolutely. There's 3 yeses I just collected in a row. I showed her I wasn't going to bite her head off. I didn't make more drama. And I said, you know what? There's a really great chapter in the book on basically making choices and decisions. Have you read chapter 3 yet? No, I haven't. Okay. Well, hey, what do you think about taking 10 minutes after this call or sometime real quickly and consuming that information and putting it into you? And then as you're reading it, what do you think about thinking about how this could have helped you and maybe how you could use it the next time? Yeah, I'll do that. Excellent. I'll make some notes and I'll check back in with you in a couple of days or maybe by next week if I don't hear from you sooner to see how that's going. Yeah, that sounds great. Do you have any other successes to report this week, Jessica? And then she can tell me. You see the difference between the two styles of coaching? Just-in-time coaching is very empathetic, but at the same time, it's not like adding drama, and it's empowering her by asking her questions of what she wants and then refocusing her on the prize. It's refocusing her. All right. Long story short, we learn that through being at events and being around each other and being on these. And if we coach that way, that seems very simple, and other people are going to want to pay it forward. Well, let me just go ahead and move you here to this Prezi again, and I want to show you something really important about it, how to use it, but also something that's see here. Okay, so you can start and stop the audio by hitting this play button right here.
You build your business using our...
Now, but how you would actually advance the slide to the next slide, it's a little different. You just hit the arrow to the right here, and that takes you to the next area. Why I would
talk to your friends or
okay.
really anyone you meet
There's Craig
about
talking.
what's happened with you and your health, you want to keep this in mind. People buy people. Over a system, that is. You are the biggest source of inspiration for change. This next teaching will be focusing on how to tell your story. When you tell your story, what you really want to understand is people are going to listen how you feel about what you're saying more than they're actually focusing on what you're saying. So don't fabricate your emotions and become inauthentic. Go back to when you told your story to someone in the first few weeks or months of your program. Think of it this way. Just tell your story to yourself, reminding yourself what this journey has meant to you. What I've noticed is that when clients tell me about what has happened, how they feel, oh my goodness, they become alive. But all of a sudden, something changes when they decide to become a coach. They often don't tell their story with the same emotion. I don't know if it's because they think they are selling something or worried about trying to get someone. I don't know. But instead of thinking about what the other person's thinking, just focus on reminding yourself about how you felt before this program, then during your journey. How amazing it is, and with the appropriate emotion in your voice. Some call it light yourself on fire, and people will gather to watch you burn. You will attract people as you're telling yourself your story. So tell yourself your story with emotion and listen to it. Trust me, you will never be perceived as trying to sell or get someone. When you do this, people choose to buy you and want what you have. Listen to this training on how to specifically tell your story.
Okay, very good. I'm going to stop sharing for right there. So this Prezi has two features in it.
There's no better way to learn something than by doing it.
All right, let me go back again. Sorry. It has two features, and you have to learn to navigate the two features, or else you'll probably get frustrated about it. So originally the Prezi was just video, and you click the arrow to the right to get to the next video, and we haven't watched any video yet, I know. But what Craig decided to do was to do a voiceover on each time you change to give you the meat or the intention behind what he wanted us to get from watching it live. Let me just do this one real quick. Super, super important that we actually get the intention or the why so that we can learn and frame our brain up. It's like you really have to kind of know a little bit about what you're looking at. It's like looking at a picture when you don't really kind of know what it is and you're trying to figure out. But as soon as someone tells you what the picture is, you can go, oh, I see that. Why did I not see that? You ever had that before where you're looking at something, you don't quite get what it is? Or people put these weird pictures up on Facebook or whatever where it looks like something else, but then when you pull back from it, it's like somebody's eye or somebody's elbow crease or something weird. But the point here is you're kind of like, for a while, you don't get it. Well, what I like is this audio, the voiceover audios. When you go through this Prezi today or tomorrow, whenever you're going to go through it, hopefully soon if you have not, really go through it. Don't multitask. Don't try and be doing something else or sending an email out. This is super crucial for any training that you're going to do with Take Shape for Life, for anything that's worth your anything it's in alignment with your purpose or something you really want to create in your life, I ask you to give yourself fully to it, because you will not be able to digest it if you don't, and you will find yourself going back and having to listen to it 20 times and still not get it if you're multitasking, versus 1 or 2 times with focused intention and listening to this audio before you watch the videos, because the audio is going to set your mind up for what this is. Hang on to the words as he shares this about the power of getting in your mind about telling your story. Lindsay, as you're listening to this as a new person, you're going, well, what's my story? Well, you have a story, and Danielle is going to help you to realize that. Well, I don't have a weight loss story with this program. That's not what we're talking about. Your story is, why did you even choose to partner with Daniela? Why did you even choose to go into this field that you actually are going into? Why did you even choose to respond to the ad? What is it about you and who you are that draws you to wanting to help other people? What it was life like before that triggered you to want to be a part of other people's lives and their inspiration? See, these are all parts of your story. It doesn't have to be a weight loss story. Most of the time, I'd say 3/4 of the time, I don't actually ever share anything about weight loss when I share. I share the fact that I have always felt this desire to help other people, but I was frustrated because everything I was trying before really wasn't lasting. They would start something, then they would stop. I personally struggled with my health in the past. And finally, when I found this program, it was something that not only worked, my goodness, and you can tell other people's stories. I tell other people's stories all the time. Daniela, this is a gal who runs a doctor's office. Her and her husband lost a combined 40, 50 pounds. And they got their health about them. And I don't know exactly, but am I in the ballpark, Daniela, between when you add you and Nick together? What is it? What's your combined, just so I know?
Combined with Nick and I, it's you were. It's 44 pounds.
See, come on now. You had to slow me down. You could have just said, yeah.
Sorry.
No,
I
it's
didn't
good.
think about it.
Yeah. You're like, wow, that sounds like a lot. It was. Yeah. Right? So basically lost 40, 50 pounds. But more important, see, look, you're going, what's my story? Okay. I'm telling like something Lindsay might be able to say, but is that, I decided to get into a field where I could truly help people get health in their life. And as a matter of fact, I partnered with this doctor and his wife, and they lost a combined 40 or 50 pounds. And since they did that, over 200 patients and people that they know and others around the country have started getting healthy in a way that's lasting. Anyway, I'm just getting the word out so more people know there's a way to get healthy and stay healthy, and I'm excited about it. Would you be okay if I sent you some information about what I'm starting to coach and what I'm doing, so that if you think about anybody who has been struggling with their health or that might benefit from having a healthier life, maybe you might forward it on to them if you think it's interesting, and you're going, wow, like I wish I could tell that good. Well, this Prezi will teach you exactly how to do that. That's what this is. It's teaching you how to learn to tell your story. If this Prezi will help you when you work with your mentor. So get with that person who you've partnered with and go through this. So you see where he's got this. Ooh, I'm not showing my screen. I'm going to show you something that you're not looking at. So the audio, I stopped it by hitting play.
So at this point of the training, I want you to pick up the telephone, call your coach, and tell him your story. Do it. Pick it up. Call him now.
All right. So Jessica.
People are the next milepost you'll want to think about, because nothing happens.
Jessica, you and I have been working on this, right?
Yes.
And last time we had talked, what I do last night when we were mentoring.
You called me in the middle of our Zoom.
And then what did I do? What happened? Explain to people.
You made sort of a pseudo phone call to me, and then I got stuck on my responses, and you stopped me, and you went back and you told me what I was doing correctly, and then what I needed to improve on before we went any further.
Yeah, so we did exactly what it talked about. We did a stop, and then eventually I gave you this kind of funny question. I asked you something about something personal, like that you knew personally. Do you remember what it was? Do you know? I asked you a question. Do you know what your something is? If you don't remember, that's fine.
I remember.
I asked you if you knew what your birthday was.
Oh, yes, that's right. I know my birthday. I just don't know how old I am all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so she knew her birthday, right? And the question is, if I asked each of you guys, what's your birthday, you could probably tell me that very quick. But if you want to get to the point where you know your story, because it's yours, just as well as you know your birthday. Like if someone asked you, so why are you in this field, or what is it that you do? Instead of just telling them, well, I'm a health coach, you would actually say, oh my goodness. Well, what I do is I help people that have been struggling with their health or maybe their weight loss or their lifestyle actually do it and succeed and get what they want. People are like, wow, that's interesting. So tell me more about that. This, no joke, this exact thing happened yesterday. I was at an event called Ridgefield Main Street. It's for promoting the downtown area. There's a gal who owns a winery. And I met her at some other networking event that I was at. It was just for promoting the downtown Main Street area. Wasn't a health thing at all. Zero health, helping out my town. We made friends at the last one. And then she introduced her husband, Wes, to me. And she's like, hey, Wes, this is Alex McMillan. Alex, remind me what you do. She goes, I can't quite remember. And I gave her that exact answer. Wes looks over, and I'm not kidding you. He looks over her, points at her, and says, you need to get with him. Like to his wife, right in front of me, right? And she had an extra bit of weight on her. And I said, Wes, like that, like made it fun, Wes. And all of a sudden she goes, it's okay. We were just talking about this. And yes, I do want to do something about my health. Like, boom, just like that. Just like that. I guarantee you that did not come because I didn't say this. But if I said, oh, I'm a health coach, that had no emotion. It had no weight. I said,
people don't know what it means.
they don't know what it means. It doesn't mean anything. It has no emotion. It has no power behind it. But I've gotten basically my quick little elevator, if you will. You only have like 5 to 7 seconds to say something meaningful. I said, well, I put tone in it, like it was a Jerry Seinfeld line. Well, right? I said, well, what I do is I help people who have been struggling with their health as a lifestyle actually get to their healthy place in life, maintain that health, their fitness, their weight as a lifestyle, so they don't have to struggle anymore. And she was like, and this face, and then he goes, you should like kind of point the finger, get with him. And I was like, well, Wes, I put a little fun in it. Bottom line is practice that, learn that. You learned it a little bit here. This Prezi will help you to learn a little bit more about telling your story appropriately. So as you move forward, work with your mentor, if I haven't said that enough times already. And then understand this as we wrap up, these mileposts in here are then going to back up what Craig says. But if he says stop and do something, even if it's just a phone call, I promise you, if you just make the phone call to your mentor coach, even if they don't answer, and just say, hey, I wanted to let you know my story. And I don't care how good it sounds or how bad you think it sounds, just do it. We're not here to judge you on a scale of 1 to 10. We're here just to help you take the action. Just like Jessica is doing, and she's doing it more and more confidently. Okay. So Jessica, can you just tell us your 1-minute story real quick?
You love putting me on the spot.
I do. You're going to get so used to this. Go for it, girl.
When I got started with this program, it was simply to lose weight. But what I found after just being part of it for just a short time was that I was regaining a sense of who I used to be and who I wanted to be. So losing weight helped me to become a better wife and become a better mom. And I just really want to be able to create that kind of freedom for other people.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and just being willing to do that. So giving you a sense of what you want and connecting to that. So you found yourself a little bit, it sounds like.
Yeah.
That's really good. Excellent. So what I would do is I would basically say the points that I like the most is the fact that she did it. I like the fact that she had some tone in there. She talked about it connected me with what I want and where I want to be. And it really helped me to see that she's willing to share herself. The areas that I would basically tweak is I'd have her go a little bit before where she started her story to the pain or the struggle prior to finding the program. So I'd have her go back to what life was like before you met Daniela and why, Lindsay, I'm switching over to Lindsay, why you were looking to partner with somebody like this. And, maybe you had a career before that you just weren't as excited about or whatnot. And you could talk about how, how you did not feel good in your skin and just how, and then on top of that, you had really struggled in other areas of your life to contribute to your family, but you'd never really taken care of yourself. You'd let yourself go. I've heard Ann's story before, and I just was lost. Like, what am I going to do? And I figured it was time for me. And so when this friend of mine, Leslie, now I'm back to Jessica's story. I'm combining a bunch of people's story. I know your stories, so I can tell them. When you guys tell your story, I really listen because I share your stories with other people. Because a lot of times, here's this African-American guy who is 40 years old, and I'm talking to a 55-year-old Caucasian lady who doesn't really relate. And only reason why I bring ethnicity into that, because I have no problems with that, is because it makes a difference on culturally how you were raised. It really does. So I will share a story of someone that's more relevant to that person. Whereas when I meet a 35-year-old guy or a 40 or a 22 or 25-year-old girl, I share my own story with my own attitude and my own personality because I know that's going to be relevant to them with who I am and the energy that I am. I'm a real intense person. So I can have all that out. So back now to Jessica's story, where I would have you go is I would have you bring into a little bit of, how life was like before as a busy mom, and you just kind of let your body go. And there you are. You found yourself. What was your heavy weight you got to?
I had just had a baby 6 months prior and actually peaked over 200 pounds during my pregnancy. I was able to get down to about 175 and was stuck there, completely exhausted, had no time, no energy to do anything. I felt like I knew the right things to do, but just wasn't going to put the effort to it. And so when I came across this program and realized how simple it seemed to be and how it took all the guesswork out of it, I was like, sign me up.
There you go. Okay, so there you go. So there's a little bit more of that now, and that just kind of flowed out of there. Last tweak I'll give you on that is a little bit more, go back to that emotional place, put a little bit of that in there, give a little more pause before you change chapters and gears, okay? So we can connect with it. So if I was going back into that, I would say, I just had a baby, and I peaked around 200 pounds. And how did you feel about that, honestly? How did you feel about when you were at 200 pounds? I mean, baby or not, right?
It was embarrassing for me, and physically it was just overwhelming for my frame. I'm 5'2", so there's no reason that 200 pounds should ever be on a 5'2" frame.
There, and you know what? You might want to say, I was embarrassed. There's no reason 200 pounds should be on a 5'2" frame. And I knew I needed to do something. So I tried, I started, but I got stuck at 175 pounds and I didn't know what to do. Then a friend of mine, and then you would go, that I was inspired by, I couldn't believe how she was just, she was kind of like where I was at. And I saw her go from this 200 pound or whatever she was. I know Leslie was pretty big. She got up there too a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she had changed her life. And I'm like, what is this? And this program has been so simple. It's worked for me. And then you go right into where you started. Okay. So do you guys catch that though? Like adding the emotion, going back to that place really. And I would, if I was you, anybody who's going back through like Jessica, is I would write down some of those key phrases like you just said. Don't let that go. Write that down. There's no reason 200 pounds should be on a 5'2" frame. Even in the Olympics, as a power lifter, it shouldn't be. I don't want to break stride, but those are the things like that that people want to connect with. So moving forward, you've got what happened for you, and the last part of your story you've got is, and now you're feeling so good, and and it depends on whether you're getting the word out or whether you're sharing with another person that has shown interest. If you're sharing with somebody who's shown interest already, you need to then end your story fairly abruptly, about a minute, and then turn it over to them. And let me ask you this. Do you know, Jessica, how to pass the torch to them, how to hand your story over to them? Do you know what the key thing to do is?
I feel like normally when I'm talking to someone who's interested, I kind of get their story first and then mine comes afterwards. So I guess the answer is no. I'm not sure what to do to pass the torch after
Right.
that.
So what you would do is that if they're kind of telling their story first and you somehow go into yours to empathize, the only point of telling your story is to awaken more of them. Then all you have to do after that is to ask them a question back, and I'll just go. So they shared a little bit about, boy, I really would like to see a change. I noticed you, and there's just something about you that inspired me, and I'd like to get this, some of this weight off. And then you say, well, you know what? Thank you for noticing. You can go in to share your story like you did. And then at the end of that, you would say, so tell me more about what you're looking for. That's it. Tell me more about what you're looking for. Tell me a little bit more about what you want. So after they give you all the wows and the, oh my goodness, that's so amazing. Don't keep going. Don't say, I know, and I feel, and then go on about this. And then, oh my goodness, I'm running now and blah, blah, blah. What you do is you say, oh, thank you so much for noticing. And so tell me more about what you're looking for. Okay. And that's it. And that passes the torch back. They're in this emotionally heightened stage, and then they're going to basically share a little bit about that. Okay. So, all right, I didn't want this training to be all about these details, but get with your mentor, your business coach, and get good at this. I don't know why I waited a year. I waited a year. So for 3 years, I've been good at this. But for the first year, I was not good at this. It was hit and miss whether I was going to relate. But now I took that time with Craig. I said, Craig, no matter what, help me become an expert at sharing my story, and help me become an expert at doing the interested script, and help me become an expert at following up. I'm still working on the follow-up piece. I'm getting really good at it. I'm not a master yet, but I'm getting really good at it. But I'm working with a mentor who's helping me. So name where you are deficient. If you know you'd be embarrassed if I said right now to you, hey, could you share your story? Then you'd want to go, wait a minute. I wouldn't want him to ask me that. Then get with your mentor and have them help you. Stop, like he said, contact your mentor and get that next little step. Now, I want to be honest. Okay, we're going to end this call on this. Jessica, when we first started doing this and I first started kind of putting you on the spot, how did you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
Okay. And on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like I am completely comfortable with what we're doing right now, and 1 being I'm completely uncomfortable, where were you when we first started on that 1 to 10? 1 is uncomfortable, 10 is completely comfortable.
11, probably.
No, 10 is comfortable.
Oh, sorry. So 0, negative, number 1.
Okay.
As uncomfortable as possible.
All right. And guess what? I will tell you guys personally, I was a little uncomfortable putting her in the situation, but you know what? I knew her success and her health and other people's health was at stake, so I let that go, and I still started doing it with her, even though I knew I don't like making people uncomfortable, but I do like helping them grow, right? So let's be honest. I've never asked you this before. On a scale of 1 to 10, be completely honest. Where are you at now? 10 being completely confident doing this, 1 being completely negative or uncomfortable. Where are you at now?
Probably halfway, 5 or 6.
Okay. And how long have we been mentoring for on specifically this kind of stuff, putting you on the spot like this?
Oh, maybe 2 weeks max.
Okay. So 2 weeks max, she's already moved up from 1 to 5, or negative is what she said, to a 5. Okay. I promise you, another 2 weeks, you will be like, wow, oh my goodness. You will. And guess what? Your coach, Heidi, she's going to see it in you. She's going to feel it, and she's going to start paying it forward. All right, guys, we went over. I just want to end this by asking you guys, please give some feedback about what you thought about Jessica sharing and any questions that you guys might have.
Oh, Jessica, I just would like to thank you for sharing. I think that whenever we, share our story, we're putting ourselves out, for interpretation, judgment, or whatever it might be. But I think when we can get to that point and pull it out of ourselves with that great love and share that with other people, they see the genuineness of who you are. And so I just encourage you to, keep moving forward with that. And it's okay to feel vulnerable, because when people see that in you, they'll see your honesty and they'll be able to trust you to move forward.
Thank you.
Yeah, I loved hearing about your story, and it was just raw. It was your story, and especially when you brought more emotion into it, I mean, I could connect to that, and that's what people like to hear. So I know it was scary, and I was scared to talk on here at first too, but I appreciated it. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for sharing that.
I love it. Well, thank you guys for just pouring into Jessica and into me. And as we keep doing this and getting together, you're going to see it. So my encouragement is that you would take action sooner than later. I don't know why I used to not take action right away. It was like you literally could waste an hour of your life, even with the best information, if you don't actually take action on it. And what I found is when you get really good information and you know it's good and you don't take action, it actually leads to frustration. It leads to you feeling worse because you knew it was good information. You knew it was something good for you and you did nothing with it. And you just feel gross almost, right? So I encourage you to feel wonderful with this by doing something. Maybe just send a text real quick to whoever your mentor coach is and say, hey, thank you for being my mentor. Let's connect. I've got some things I want you to help me with. Just that little tiny bit of action can be the start. Okay? All right. Well, it was great seeing you all today. And I look forward to our next meeting. Mr. Nick, you can't get away. Mr. Caruli, don't go that fast, sir.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, what's up, man? I see you, Doc. Yeah, maintenance barn, maintain that.
See ya.
All right, guys. Well, I look forward to seeing you guys at the Super Regional or online if you're going to be online. And then, of course, look forward to seeing all of you in Orlando. That's very assumptive, but it's not. I have the vision that we're going to be there together, and we're going to grow together. All right. Love you all very much, and let's take action.
Thanks.
Bye.
Blessings, everybody, over
Blessings.
Christmas.
Yeah, yes. If we don't see each other
Bye-bye.
before, oh my goodness, time is ticking.